and welcome back to Let's Play Resident Evil 4. Just giving a little refresh of my inventory here, making sure all the grenades in their right little spot, putting the guns at the bottom with a little layer of ammo above, and why don't we just keep our healing items off to the side here. Isn't that grand? And welcome back to Let's Play Resident Evil 4. Second attempt at making this video, actually, because the previous one just did not come out looking right with the visuals. So I'm trying to do something a little bit different here. It's been a comedy of errors. Starting things off, we are just going to ruin the day of these hardworking men here. They are not going to really be able to focus on their farm work when Leon is just running through them with his pistol. This farmstead has quite a bit for us to do. Goodness gracious. I feel kind of bad, actually. You may notice we have some cows here. You can also harass the cows if you'd like, though they are not as agreeable to, being shot, or stumbled with being shot. Anyways, take this guy without the knife. One thing I didn't really get to go over with melee attacks is that there is an alternate one that Leon can perform. Functionally not too different from his roundhouse kick. If you shoot them in the knee, the ganados. What is this? Regardless, if you shoot them in the knee, you can drop them down and deliver a straight kick to launch them a bit further. Honestly, the roundhouse kick off of a headshot is a lot more practical, but do keep in mind that you can get an alternate melee by shooting the enemy in the knee. That'll become relevant later. For right now, though, no deer except a stinking pool of manure. Goodness gracious. I do have to wonder how the maggots affect the quality of the manure. Starting here, why don't we just shoot this thing and see what happens? Well, 1 out of 15. Not exactly sure what happens when we shoot all 15, but I'm sure we'll learn in due time. There is another one of these blue coin things. Probably not going to get any shine sprites for these. There's another one hanging right over in the window of this barn. Let me take this out real quick. There we go. And over here... We can't shut this, rather feated well, but if we shoot this wood block, and then... I mean, this doesn't seem like a super practical way to go about this, but if we shoot this down... Get the Pearl Pendant, another valuable treasure item. If you open up the feated well, you will find that you cannot close it back up. So if you do shoot the cover down and then reopen it, you'll have no choice but to drop the pendant into the drink. So be mindful of that. Checking this note out over here. About the blue medallions, 15 blue medallions, 7 in the farm, 8 in the cemetery. For those of you who destroy more than 10 medallions, you will be awarded. The rest is illegible. This is a little side quest of sorts, and this memo actually does a secondary thing for us. It marks the locations of the blue medallions in the areas where we can collect them on our map, so makes it relatively easy to actually find these things. And in this specific area, there's only 7 for us to collect, so not too much extra work we have to do here. We will want to do this Blue Medallion side quest, as the reward we get for it is pretty helpful, and it can also be a good source of money. If you are not interested in using the reward in and of itself. Just gonna take this guy out with some headshots. There are a lot of enemies in the farmstead, as you can see, another one dropping on down. You can do a little bit of stealth, I suppose, if you are careful, and not have to worry about facing too many of these guys at once if you stick mostly to knife slashes, but I'm not really trying to exercise that much discretion. So we'll kill this guy and clean out his home. This guy coming in through the window made a pretty poor decision, taking him out with some knife slashes, since now that I don't have to worry about anyone else, this is the last enemy in the area. Now that I don't have to worry about anyone else, I can just take him out with the most economical choices. Do note that the knife slash can cause the enemy to periodically stumble backwards and out of your knife range, so if they are stumbled for a long time, it's not a terrible idea to take a step forward just to make sure your knife slashes can still connect. You get a spinel there. some pesetas inside here. There's a lot of cabinets in the game that can be opened up to obtain their rewards. Before we continue on from this area, we are going to want to hit up a couple more medallions. There's one hanging in this window over here that is a little tricky to notice, and one very well hidden one right over here, hanging underneath the farmhouse's roof. Get that one. Alright, just two more to grab while we're here. There's a couple more treasures we also want to grab, and they are a little sneakily hidden, so definitely be thorough in your investigations here. More handgun ammo is always much appreciated. Dropping on down here, we're going to find a crate that always has the same item in it. The Bierstein. Now, the Bierstein on its own is actually a pretty unvaluable item. You will not sell this for very much, if we could theoretically sell it, after all. But there is something we can do with it to dramatically increase its value, and, I suppose, increase the value of other items. But perhaps I'm getting ahead of myself here. A couple more blue medallions to collect over off to this side. This one can be a little tricky, this one hanging from this windmill right here. What we want to do right here is just try and get into a good position. As you can see, I'm having trouble actually connecting my laser sight over it. The perspective is a little weird here. Sometimes it can help to actually back up a little bit and see if you can get a more desirable angle, and there we go. 6 out of 15. I'm gonna jump down here. There's actually not too much we can do in this little fenced-off area, but there are a couple things to investigate. First off, won't open. Must be barred from the other side. A little help from another person. Maybe I can climb over. Yeah, this door is big and barred, and we don't exactly have the height to climb over it, but maybe if we had the help from someone else, we could pull that off. Last medallion is here. This one, again, you kind of want to back up and just make sure you have a good angle to view it. If you're a little too close, you won't be able to shoot over the outcropping wood planks in order to hit it. Inside this little shack, underneath the ladder, very easy to miss, another easily missable spinel. I suppose it's worth noting at this point that there is actually something in the game that tells you where most of these treasure items are that we're not going to be utilizing, but if you are struggling to find everything, it can be a worthwhile thing to keep in mind. Spinels, on the other hand, are not ever signposted to you in any direct way. You just have to know where they are. Most of them are pretty obvious, but there are definitely a handful of deviously hidden spinels as we go throughout the game. Just take another double check at our map. As you can see, all the blue spots have gone, so we've gotten all the medallions in this area. If you want to, you can screw around in this area with the chickens. There's quite a few roaming around, just repeatedly shooting at their, I want to say feet, but that's probably not the correct terminology for it. They're not their talons. Just keep shooting at their little talons, and eventually they'll produce eggs for you. You can get a decent supply of healing items by doing this. Not something I'm particularly interested in, though. Alrighty. Heading on over this way. I'm hoping I'm not going to have to hit any buttons to avoid an unfortunate death. I've seen this signpost before. Well, whatever. I'm sure it's not signifying any ooh. And we are given a QuickTime event. Resident Evil 4 features quite a few of these throughout its runtime. Probably a game that helped popularize these, though obviously it's not the first game to use the concept of QuickTime events. You noticed right there that we were tasked with hitting A and B simultaneously. For this particular QuickTime event, that is not always the prompt you are going to get. Several of the QuickTime events in this game that ask you to press 2 buttons simultaneously can either throw up L and R or A and B. Some will always throw up L and R, others will alternate between A and B and L and R at random. It's just a matter of what that particular playthrough decides, or even just that particular run of the QuickTime event. A couple spinels hanging out on the ceiling here. So that forces some degree of attention. Obviously, though, for the ones where it's always just L and R, you can kind of just eventually, after playing this game enough, reflexively know when you're supposed to hit those buttons. Note over here we've got a guy in the back there with a stick of dynamite. What we're going to do is, instead of going too far forward, we're going to aggro this guy. There we go. You saw that I shot the dynamite out of the air as he tossed it. When the enemies who have dynamite go to throw it, the hitbox for it extends dramatically outward, allowing you to very easily blast it just as it begins to sail, blowing it up in their face. Enemies with dynamite are honestly more of a help than a hindrance sometimes, which is pretty funny. Got another guy over there. Want to make sure that I catch him just as he's lighting the dynamite stick. There we go. Actually surprised I was able to make that quick fire. We'll be seeing plenty of dynamite guys throughout the game here. One nice little unique environmental detail, you got these big-ass spiders roaming around this cabin here. If you are so inclined, you can just cause those guys to explode into big old chunks. Honestly, a little bit cruel, but not exactly out of character for Leon at this point based on what we've been doing. Another dynamite guy occupies this cabin, and we actually want to head into this one and take him out real quick, as there's a couple of items that we can grab. Note that you don't have to blast the dynamite out of the air. I don't believe you can shoot it in his hand. Oh dear. Luckily, the the hitbox for the dynamite, probably worth demonstrating its own. The explosion hitbox isn't actually not that threatening for Leon. You need to be pretty close to dynamite when it goes off for Leon to get hurt by it. You have to practically be standing on top of it most of the time. Again, this is something that actually affects the enemies worse than Leon. They find themselves pretty easily taken down by dynamite. Over here, we've got a bird's nest right here. If we blast it out, we will find a red cat's eye, another treasure item, and like the beer stein, it is relatively unvaluable. But if we take a closer look at it, the marking on the stone indicates that it was once sent into something. But what? Nevertheless, a rare gem. And if we were to look at the beer stein, there are 3 recessions on the side. I wonder what they're for. Now, you probably noticed the combinatory option here. We choose to combine these two, and we get a beer stein with red stone set in it. 1 gemstone has been set inside. Looks like we've got 3 divots on this thing, so presumably 2 more gemstones to be placed in it. We'll have to keep that in mind for later. Over here we got a little box that usually just has nothing but handgun ammo. In fact, I think it always has handgun ammo in it. And I swear I hear something coming from inside this house. Perhaps this is the prisoner's house we were informed of in that note. Let's grab this ammo over here. Quite a few cabinets to loot in here, so be sure to be thorough. We are very soon going to be able to utilize money. Let's break this tripwire over here. A bit difficult to see from here, but there's a second one in here. And with that, the house has been thoroughly disarmed, and probably more than a little property damage has been done. But hey, we're on a mission here, and it's pretty important. Sounds like the banging's coming through here. Fortunately, we can push this cabinet out of the way and get into this room. Alright, Leon, best to err on the side of caution. Keep your weapon at the ready. Let's check what's in here.
Little rough, don't you think? You're not like them?
No. You?
Okay, I have only one very important question. You got a smoke?
Got gum.
Perfect. The big cheese.
What?
There are probably some better choices you could have made in that encounter, Leon, to guarantee survival. Boy, I hope we survived here, otherwise this is going to be a pretty short and boring game. Regardless, let's just update our save here real quick.
Feeble humans, let us give you our power. Soon, you will become unable to resist this intoxicating power.
Wake up.
Ay. Crawl out of one hole and into another.
You want to tell me what's going on here?
Americano, see? Now what brings a bloke like you to this part of the world? Oh, hey, easy, whoever you are.
Name's Leon. Came here looking for this girl. Seen her?
What, are you supposed to be a cop or something? Nah, you don't look the type.
Maybe.
Okay, let me guess. She's the president's daughter?
That's too good for a guess. Want to start explaining?
Psychic powers. Nah, just kidding with you, amigo. I overheard one of the villagers talking something about the president's daughter in the church.
And who might you be?
Me llamo Luis Serra. I used to be a cop in Madrid. But now I'm just a good-for-nothing guy who happens to be quite the ladies' man.
Why'd you quit?
Phew, policia. You put your life on the line. Nobody really appreciates you enough for it. Being a hero isn't what it's cracked up to be anymore.
Used to be a cop myself. Only for a day, though.
I thought I was bad.
Somehow I managed to get myself involved with the incident in Raccoon City on my first day in the force.
That is the incident with the viral outbreak, right? I think I might have seen a sample of the virus in a lab at the department.
Hey boy, I'm not dying.
Do something, cop!
After you.
Now!
It's Leon. Sorry I couldn't get in touch sooner, but I was a bit tied up.
You're okay, right?
I'm fine. There was a male civilian held captive. According to him, Ashley's in a church somewhere.
What happened to him?
He managed to escape.
Do you have a fix on the location of that church?
No, but apparently there's a secret passage in the village that leads there. I'm heading back to the village.
Well, fortunately, we actually survived that encounter. Not exactly sure what was happening in the scene between that encounter and waking up with Luis in this cabin, but whatever. Also, extra fortunately, they did not take any of our items. Goodness, I'm gonna have to reorganize this again. Whatever the case, we are given full reign over this little prison hut we've been put into. A pack of handgun bullets awaits us, but otherwise, not really much else to see here. Why don't we get after Luis and see if we can't catch up with him?
Over here, stranger.
Interesting individual over that way. Well, something that we are ultimately going to have to check out later. A very interesting item waits us on this little end table right here. We get a pack of rifle bullets. Not a weapon type that we actually have at this point, and I don't think we can just chamber these into our shotgun. That would be no good. But keep that in mind for later, I'm going to be calling it a video just about here, at least as far as this edition of Resident Evil 4 goes. But there are a couple of miscellaneous things I'd like to go over using the HD edition, so why don't we quickly pop over to that and check that out real quick. One thing I forgot to check as I was passing through the area in the previous video was this guidepost here that indicates Pueblo. Now, Pueblo is not the name of the town, rather, Pueblo is a word for a village or a type of house in Spanish, but in this context, obviously, it is a village. I don't know if the village has an official name, it's just Pueblo as far as this game is concerned.
Por el
Now, one thing I forgot to show off for the village battle in the previous video is that there is a pretty famous cheese strategy you can employ to get through it. By going into this cabin specifically, if you go into here and then shoot a hole in this door, and then, okay, that is a little unfortunate. Not the exact way I wanted to get it, but if you shoot a hole in this door, you can slash through it with the knife. And my hole is a little large here, so this isn't as effective as it could be, but there are no other entry points to the house, so you can just keep slashing through this hole in the door and just kill everyone as they huddle up around it. And this is a very easy way to clear the sequence. But yeah, this I kind of executed this a little bit poorly here. Also, I haven't really had a chance to go over it, but all cutscenes in this game are skippable, so if you're trying to just rush on through and get through the story as quickly as possible, you have the option to do so. You want to kind of get the hole below the doorknob for this to be as effective as possible. That prevents, like, guys who have pitchforks from being able to actually hit you. Note that this strategy is a little less effective in the GameCube version. Partially, it's just that the knife is weaker. The knife is about a third as powerful in the GameCube version as it is in future releases. But also, the hitbox isn't quite as, shall we say, favorable for you in the GameCube edition. The enemies can still much more easily hit you through the hole than you can, or just about as easily hit you through the hole as you can hit them. Anyways, I'm just going to, well, actually, I've kind of demonstrated the strategy here, so instead, why don't I use this opportunity to show off something that I won't be able to show off in the GameCube version. Now, obviously, because this is a New Game Plus file, I have a variety of endgame weapons here. We'll go over most of these as we get through the Let's Play, but the one I specifically want to go through right now is this one right here. The PRL-412, the Plagas Removal Laser. Use this charge attack to decimate all surrounding enemies with a supremely powerful laser weapon. This was added in the PlayStation 2 version of the game, and it is your reward for completing the game on the professional difficulty. It does not use ammo, it is free to obtain, and it is a charging type weapon. If you do a quick burst with it, it will stun everything in the vicinity, immediate vicinity of you, and also deal a light amount of damage, like that, see? So that guy's stunned. If you charge it up, on the other hand, just waiting a little bit, it will fire a barrage of homing lasers that kill everyone in their path. It can also be used to destroy objects, though I've read that it did not do this in the PS2 version. I don't actually have the PS2 version anymore to test that, though, so if you can confirm for me if that's the case, by all means do so. In this version, though, it can destroy objects, no problem. Moving on. Yeah, I was not going to comment on this, but that was quite the death barrage there. I just killed those cows. I feel bad. Anyway, what I was actually going to show here is this right here. The Pearl Pendant. If we were to just shoot it directly into the drink here, you'd get a dirty Pearl Pendant. This cuts the value of the Pearl Pendant by 90%. It is normally worth 10,000 pesetas. A measly 1,000 pesetas is all you get for it now. Now, technically speaking, if you were going for a true 100% treasure collection run, you'd actually want to get this dirty pendant right here. Doesn't seem to have much value, because there are actually 2 copies of the Pearl Pendant in the game. So if you wanted to truly say you got every treasure, then you'd want to get this dirty Pearl Pendant, because you can get a normal Pearl Pendant much later on, and this would mean that you got all treasures in the game if you got the dirty Pearl Pendant. Personally, I'm not that particular about my collection percentage in this game. It doesn't even track that, so we're just going to go with the much more practical, pristine Pearl Pendant for this playthrough. And while we're at it, I may as well show off what happens when you bungle the QuickTime events. I'm just not feeling it today. Honestly, it takes quite a while for that boulder to catch up. Oh boy, Leon's upper half has been flattened there. Shame that we have to do a closed casket funeral for him. And let's see what happens if Leon was not so quick on the ball. Honestly, kind of a disappointing death scene here. I feel like more could have been done with this. Alright, that is it for this video. Next time, we'll get into one of the bigger ongoing mechanics for the game, and meet what is probably everyone's favorite character. So, look forward to that. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, though, goodbye.
I don't dispute the doubts you've outlined, but it's my right to waste your time.